Mr. Speaker, whistleblower information from HSBC documents show rampant mortgage fraud by people using fake high salaries from fake jobs in China to get mortgages and buy houses in Canada. How is it possible for a person with no income to buy 4 houses? These frauds fuel real estate bubbles, and they support FinTrack findings on Chinese money laundering and Canadian real estate. How can the Prime Minister make housing more available and affordable when fraudsters are buying up multiple homes? Why is his government ignoring the damage created by money laundering and mortgage fraud in Canada?
That was Member of Parliament Kevin Vuong discussing the issue of mortgage fraud and its impact on Canada's housing market. And joining us now is MP Vuong to discuss this further. Thank you very much for sitting down with us.
Thanks for having me, David.
What prompted you to raise the issue of foreign mortgage fraud in the House?
I think the reality is for Canadians, housing has become unaffordable. And so when the allegations came out from a whistleblower about the alleged mortgage fraud at a bank, I think that was something that started to explain perhaps why it's been so challenging, why the prices seem to be out of control. To read about, people who are on the one hand on welfare at the same time getting a $1.4 million mortgage is unbelievable. And what we know is every house bought by a fraudster is one less house for Canadians.
Do we have any understanding of maybe how widespread this issue is, or are we just now at the tip of the iceberg in terms of understanding the depth of this problem?
I think the allegations have been there for quite some time, but now for a whistleblower to come out from one bank with documents alleging that someone with no income can somehow get a mortgage to be able to buy up to 4 homes, or who has, on the one hand, $10,000 in student loans, while at the same time allegedly having $700,000 in remote income. Like, give me a break. Where's the mortgage due diligence? How has it been so hard for regular Canadians to get a home? And then at the same time, for banks seemingly, allegedly being able to just give out mortgages to anyone.
And how does the foreign home buyer ban and the extension of that ban help to limit this issue?
So, sure, someone with a foreign passport might not be able to buy a home now, but there are still, unfortunately, workarounds. There are still, if they set up a local corporation. And at the end of the day, whether or not they're foreign, if they're using fraudulent income to be able to get a mortgage to take a home that otherwise a regular Canadian would buy and live in, like, that's a real issue that needs to be addressed.
And why do you think Ottawa has missed this problem for so long? I mean, the whistleblower allegations have made headlines now, and there certainly is attention to the issue, but it feels like we may have missed the beat here nationally.
I think it's a really complex issue. You have allegations of not just money laundering and mortgage fraud. I think there are also allegations around the impact of foreign interference. We know the is going on right now, examining foreign interference, particularly from the Chinese Communist Party. And what I think a lot of people are worried about is just how complex, but also how interconnected all of these issues are. And most importantly, David, at the end of the day, the final outcome, the impact is that Canadians cannot afford to buy homes for themselves on our soil, in our own cities.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the big housing suggestions from this has been we don't necessarily need to focus on foreign buyers, we need to focus on building more. Is it an either-or problem, or should we be focusing our attention on both?
I would suggest both, right? So if we're making it easy for mortgage fraudsters to buy homes, that drives up demand. And we know, unfortunately, housing has become a supply issue. And so less supply of less homes ultimately drives up prices, right? And those are some of the challenges that Canadians are facing. In Toronto, it's going to take now, on average, 25 years, a quarter of a century, to be able to save up enough for a down payment for someone to buy a home. That nothing should be in a fraction of a century, right? And the dream of home ownership, particularly for millennials like me and other people my age, I'm 34, has become just so out of reach, and it's a real issue that needs to be addressed.
Kevin, I really appreciate you taking the time to sit with us today. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me. Everyone deserves to be able to have a home that they can call their own.